includes the service. So when in doubt, when they don't invite you to their party, when they give you the look, when they unemploy you, when your shoulder separates, get a sense of it. So every master teacher since the beginning of time has said this. Breathe, 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 just breathe. Be aware that you're being breathed. Take a deep breath, take 2 deep breaths, take 10 deep breaths, count to 10, count to 3. What do we do instead? How dare you? After all I've done for you. And oh, the allure, huh? Oh, the allure to be offended. Now, it's proven scientifically that we get drugs from this, the similar drugs that people using drugs get. A flow of chemicals that runs through us. So we're getting our high, we're getting jacked up over being offended. It has its own addiction. Thinking is its own addictive quality. Being offended, holding offending, counting offenses, gunny sacking, holding grudges, counting grudges. All together, amen. So what's another option? What's another option? Yeah, so think about this then. If there's power within you, and if you believe unity teachings, this is all the power in the universe is within you. So any possibility for another way of being with this is within you. And oh, the allure. Lead us not into the temptation of mind, for it is loco. So then let's just cut through it and see some practically, what does this really mean? What are the implications to this? So drought and flood, which one's good? Drought or flood?
Both and.
Now get a sense, both and. Both and, neither. Either both and or neither. Then unity says it's alpha and omega. Everything in between. Not one or the other, but both and. So then begin to apply this. They like me.
They don't like me.
They respect me.
They don't like me.
They want to be close and intimate.
They want to be
They want to be far, far away. You know this from your relationships. Like this is the human heart of it. It's like, oh, get close, we're so intimate. Oh, if I loved you any better, I'd eat you with a spoon. And then in just a second, it's like, oh, need space, like smothering. Because we get so uncomfortable in that. So the tensions of this. So get a sense then of seeing this as a spectrum. Not a one or the other, but a spectrum that includes all of it. That includes it all. Then times of illness and times of wellness. So where did you get you're going to live a life without illness in it? Where'd you get that? And what does good old reality say? Take your turn around the mulberry bush. So nobody in the human form without an illness here and there, without a time of illness. And it doesn't mean that we're not in wholeness when we're in illness. That we're in wholeness because we can't help it. We're in wholeness because we're one with the one power and the presence that is the creator of all things. So then wholeness includes everything. Wholeness includes all of it. the whole spectrum. And then mortally, our mortal mind, our mind made said, I think I'll just draw a neat, tidy little line down the middle here somewhere and start calling it good and oh no, not us unity types. We don't believe like that. We don't believe in good and evil. We don't believe in good and bad. Of course we do. We call it positive and negative. And it's the same old paradigm until it's like the line comes down, it's included. So they'll like me and they won't. They respect me and they don't. I'll have a diagnosis, I'll have a healing. I'll have employment, I'll have unemployment. I'll have marriage, I'll have divorce. Some of us. Those of you that haven't think you're immune from it. Keep that fantasy as long as you can. Because we don't know what's in the path. We cannot know what we're here to experience as a soul in evolution, an evolutionary process. And what all the conditions of the humanness of us, all the conditions of the humanness are for our learning experiences. So that all suffering, all loss, all grief for our human learning processes. So then nothing in vain. Nothing in vain. Not one experience more, not one experience less than what I have to experience for my own evolution, for my own soul's progression. It's like, I didn't even get to vote. I didn't get to pick. Like, was there a menu? I don't want any of that. I don't want any of that. I don't want any of that. Of course. Sane people don't want suffering. And will there be some times of suffering?
Oh, yeah.
Altogether?
Yes.
Yes. And sane people don't want to watch other people suffer. Your children, your loved ones, the people close to you. And will they suffer?
Yes.
Altogether?
Yes.
Now feel it. So then suffering, that I cannot lead, I cannot be a model of this light, a teacher of these teachings, of these master teachers and master teachings, and hand down to the next generation, which hands down to the next 7 generations. There shouldn't be any suffering here. So what would I hand down instead? Suffering is included here. There will be times of suffering. It's absolutely inevitable. And you're equipped for it, honey. So there'll be times, little 3-year-old, there'll be times that they like you and times they don't. And times you'll feel close and safe, and times you feel doubtful and worried. There'll be times of panic, times of calm. So what would it be like to hand that down instead of what was handed down to us and handed down to them? And 2,000 recorded years of this, since creation, this old paradigm being handed down versus, hey, what if there's a few of us that can say, hey, we can circuit break this. We can be a teacher of a new way, a new potential, a new possibility that says it actually is not just theoretically, it actually factually is Alpha and Omega. And everything under the sun is included. Now the good news is, you don't have to love it. Isn't that a relief? And you don't even have to like it. You sure don't have to condone it. And you don't have to be a victim to it.
Amen.
Anymore either, after this morning maybe. To say, I cannot love it, I do not love it, I don't like it, I do not condone it. And I'm not going to let it be the creator of my life when I can stop it either. That I'm going to get a new relationship with this. That I'm going to live from that relationship. So let's see then, what practically does it mean? So before you leave this holy holy morning before you leave this holy, holy building, somebody will cross you. Somebody's not going to do it the way you wanted them to. So how would you be in that very interaction if you included that? What would that be like?
Peaceful.
Calmer?
Peaceful.
I'd have more peace about it. What would it do for your inner world if you could observe this and not absorb it? It looks good on you. See if you can give words to it. So it's all still happening. Everything under the sun is happening, so that's not different. But what's different is me. What's different is you. And that you can relate to that differently. What would that be like?
Expanded.
More expansive?
Growth development.
Developing, growing, more accepting. Does this sound more like Unity teachings?
Yes.
Yes.
Welcome to Unity, we judge. Well, of course. It's like, oh, they judge me. So instead of your response being, OMG, they judge me, it would be, of course. Of course, because now it's included. Because anything you don't include, you're at stress over. Anything you don't include, you're at war with. Anything you have excluded is waiting for you on the next corner. To give you one more little pop quiz. To go, hey, suffer or include. Suffer some more or include this. And then the mind will say, I cannot include it. It is so awful. It is just so awful. What are you saying? It's so awful. So then in the little good and bad paradigm, where does awful fall? B-A-D. Then we don't even feel like we can't even discern that, hey, it's an awful happening, or, you know, that was not all that popular, or that was hurtful. Then we say it's not just the behavior that's bad or the situation that's bad, but you're bad. They're bad. And then deeper, 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 hi ho, into hell we go. And then we'll say, they did it. They did it. Loco. Loco didn't include. So anything I awfulize, it's got hooks in me. Anything I awfulize is Velcro on my new suit. So what if you were Velcro-less? And they're like, oh my God, you're fat, you talk too much, you're the worst excuse for a human being. And you're like, I've had the same thoughts. Well, haven't you? All together? Yes. So they cannot have a thought about you that you've not had about you. The very worst thing I could think about you, you already think about you for decades. The worst thing you can think about me, I already think about me. So what would you defend? What would you be reactive to? We don't need to. We don't have to.
We'll have to accept ourselves.
And if we got less reactive, if we came out of the spell of this, if we sobered up from this, what would that be like? Get a sense of it in your body. I hear it, it's no new thought, I think it too. You think I'm fat, I think I'm fat. We have everything in common. So far. And then, see, the mind's open. Like what else? Because then anything that zings me, anything that dings me, is an exact proof that I believe it. Anything that hurts me, that would still hurt me, is a clue about how deeply I still believe that. So then you can say, hey, I kind of know I'm fat, but keep that to yourself, because I've not healed that up all that well. Or it hurts me to hear it. And then, we love you so much, we'll keep telling you. And girl, you need to lose some weight. You're going to die before your time. This is serious. And if you heard it as, hey, I have the same thoughts, what would you react to? I mean, you've heard this one before, so this is the most practical application of this, and how the mind has an allure to awfulize. So then if somebody called you fat, how awful that is. So what if it wasn't awful anymore? What if it was fine? Fine. It's fine. Can you get a sense of that in your body? It's included. It's okay. And then basic unity, our basic unity teaching is, I'm going to experience life according to what I name it. So if I call it awful, what am I going to experience? So who did that? God? Or this loco, part of the mind that's unquestioned? It's not problematic, it's not bad, it's just undeveloped, it's unquestioned, it's unrealized. So then, if I stop calling it awful, what would I call it? This is what is. Then this is included. So then, if I say we go out, now imagine you've left today and you, oh my God, did you love that Lord's Prayer? Did you have a new experience of the Lord's Prayer? So some of you loved it, some of you didn't. Some of you are like, oh, that's awful. Some are like, oh my goodness, I've never related to it like that. So see, it'll be both and. It'll be both and. So what you heard was the Aramaic, which is the master teacher's language, read, spoken, and then chanted. And thank you to Maria for doing that. And she's local here in Chicago, and if you want to know more, she's a master teacher herself, and she's studied Emma Curtis Hopkins and for decades, who was a teacher to Charles and Myrtle Fillmore. So she spent a lifetime in these teachings and then in these spiritual practices. So thank you for sharing your gifts with us today. Yeah. So get a sense then that, oh my God, I'm enlightened today. Oh my God, I'm booger free. And then you just feel so good, like your tail's wagging and it's a good day, and you go out and the tire's flat. So if you look up on the flat tire and call it awful, what will you experience?
Awful.
And who did it?
I did.
And if you look up on the flat tire and simply call it what it is, a flat tire, what kind of emotion does that bring?
Neutral.
It's what it is.
Neutral. This is what it is. And then if we call it awful, we regress, we go below the line, we go into the smallest part of the brain called the reptilian brain that can fight, flight, and freeze, and that's its largest repertoire. And if we can stay above the line, we can access a large part of the brain that's seldom ever accessed. That's called a neocortex, a frontal lobe that has cognition and rationale and logic. So now if we can stay above the line, how would we meet this flat tire?
With a new test.
Who's got a jack? Who's got AAA? Where's Dallas? Like, get somebody over here that can get this tire inflated, because it's deflated and I don't like it a bit. So it's deflated, I want it inflated, and all of this big emotion was because I'm not getting what I wanted. And until I include that. And see, then eventually through self-inquiry and other practices, whatever works for you, use it. But that's what the workshop's about, to finish you off. And to finish this one off. And I'm in a hurry. That would say, hey, wait a minute, I've had this many years of life. And within that amount of life, how many flat tires did I have? But look at the power that holds. Then we go, oh, I got a new perspective. Oh my goodness, I barely had any flat tires. I'm back in gratitude. So instead of awful, it's awesome. Instead of awful, it's awesome. Now, if you get a flat tire and jump out and start going, ain't this awesome? Ain't this awesome? They'll probably put you in an institution. So we don't have to call it awesome. Just what if I stop calling it awful? And then we'll get the flat tire fixed. We get in the car to drive off. The phone rings. It's like, hello? How are you, Martha? Did you hear? Flat tire. Right in the middle of Sunday. Yeah, everything was fine. You know, that crazy Creek woman, she thinks she's got the answer to everything. Yeah. She wanted me to call it awesome. She wanted me to actually get out of my car and call that flat tire and call it awesome. Yeah, I mean, that's what we have to deal with at church. That's what I don't think you want to go either, because they're getting crazier and crazier over there. Okay, hi, gotta go, bye-bye. Next call. Hey, Martha, how's it going? Did you hear? 150 people there. Did anybody else get a flat tire? No, sirree. I'm the only one that ever gets a flat tire. I always get flat tires. All my life, it's been me that got flat tires. I'm a mind reader. Guess how I know yours? Then we get to our offices tomorrow. Hey, happy Monday, Martha. How's it going? Did you hear? So what are we teachers of? What are we preachers of? Ain't it awful? And then bringing in more proof to support our already drawn conclusion. So in the beginning, there was the conclusion. Or, wait a minute. I believe I've had just enough of that suffering to last me the rest of my life. And part of my human learning process will include some suffering. And there is some suffering that's optional. Some suffering is optional, like calling something awful. So I'm going to absolutely accept that suffering is a part of my human learning experience. I'm going to accept that in all of our human journeys, there's going to be some suffering. And then I'm not going to keep suffering me. And I'm not going to keep putting suffering on me when I can stop myself. See with me? See, I believe it's us that can do it. And if anybody else could, they'd be here. And they're not here. So those of you listening, if it's you that can make a decision today, to exercise the power of a choice that says, I have had just enough suffering like that. I've had just enough of that kind of suffering to say, there's a new way for me. And that today's a new beginning for that. And today's a new way for me to step into new skins today to say, I'm going to be on the earth differently. I'm going to be in life differently. And I'm going to be in relationships differently. And you here at Unity Northwest are beacons of this. I've been witnessing you for 12 years or longer. I've been up here many, many times to serve with you. I've watched you in and out of transitions. I've watched you as ministers come and go. I've watched you in change. I've watched you through your own dealings with suffering and how you've navigated it. And you are an iconic ministry in this movement. And you're a miracle makers. You're miracles and you're a miracle maker. Because as the business of church continues to decline, have you noticed? 10,000 churches closing annually in the U.S. 10,000 a year closing annually. 10,000 annually closing in the U.S. so that you're here, that you're in a spiritual community here, and that you still value spiritual community and understand what it brings you to be part of this. Godspeed to you as you continue to bolster that up and to care for one another and to care for the ministry and to care for its role in our movement and to care for its possibility that this teaching, these unity principles teachings, can be a difference for all of humanity. That anything that I shift today shifts it for the whole of humanity. And if I can shift this much, and then we can shift this much, then eventually this much. It matters. You matter. And your presence matters. And your practices matter. And your choices matter. And Godspeed to you as you continue to make the choice when you can. And when you can't, we're here with understanding. We're here with prayer. And we're here with hearts and hands that can be the ones to walk you through it. So keep it up. And if there's ever a way I can serve you, ever a way that I can personally serve you, my mission to be in this world is to serve those who serve. So it's a privilege for me to do it. And when you came in today, you got a little card. So you got a special message. These are pictures I've taken around the world with my phone. So I encourage you to use yours and to look for the beauty that's all around and to find a way to then put the beauty, the art, the flowers, the bees, the trees, the sayings, the teachings, to put it out in the world too. So I hope you receive this as a gift from my heart and for you to use as you will as you continue to serve in the ways that you do. So hang around if you can, and I promise to mentor you and to tormentor you as we enter our time of meditation. I invite you to do so with a bigger willingness than ever before. A profound, infinite yes to experience infinite spirit. Not as a concept, but as realization. And to be opened, willing to transform. Willing to receive. And get a sense of unzipping your old self from the top of your head all the way down to your feet, so that any hurts, resentments, grudges, past, any accumulation of the past with no longer needing to understand it, no longer trying to make sense out of what does not make sense, accepting that we cannot ever know how or why things happened, and unwilling today to carry any burden of that, any fragments or morsels of that, now choosing something new. And that as you unzip that, imagine stepping out of it, that old skin, the old way. And the old ways. O birther, our birther, mother, father of the cosmos, focus your light within us. Focus your light within us. Make it useful. Create your reign of unity now. Create your reign of unity now through our fiery hearts and our willing hands. Help us love beyond our ideals. And help us sprout acts of compassion for all creatures. Animate the earth within us. When we feel the wisdom underneath supporting all, so that we will then feel the wisdom underneath supporting us all. Untangle the knots within so that we can mend our hearts. Untangle the knots within so that we can mend our hearts and our heart's simple ties to each other. Do not let surface things delude us, but free us from what holds us back from our true purpose. Free us. Anything that holds us back from our true purpose. And out of you, an astonishing fire, the astonishing fire from you, returning light and sound to the cosmos. Truly power these statements. May these statements be the ground from which all our actions grow. Sealed in trust and faith. Sealed in trust and faith. Our Lord's Prayer, the Aramaic translation. Now, as you continue your meditation, I invite you to get a sense of being new, of shedding the old skin, willing to receive, willing to transform, willing to transcend that old and the old ways, and to receive this chant through Reverend Uta Maria Sadia.
Awunda wa Shemaya, Awunda wa Shemaya, Awunda wa Shemaya, Awunda wa Shemaya. Nizkadish Shemach, Nizkadish Shemach, Nizkadish Shemach. Nizkadashemach, Nizkadashemach, Nizkadesh Shemach. Tetei malkutach, Tetei malkutach, Tetei malkutach. Tei malkutach, Tei malkutach, Tei Te malkutach, te malkutach. Nechwe tzivyanach haikana, debashamaya af ba'arha. Nechwe tzivyanach haikana, debashamaya af ba'arha. Havlan lachma desun kenan yomana. Havlan lachma desun kenan yomana. Washvo klanna chau bein wachtaheina. I Canada frenan shvo chamlon chaya bein washvo klan chau bein wachtahein. I Canada frenan shvo chamlon chaya bein. Wila tachalan lenisuna ela padzan min bisha. Vela pasan lenesuna ela padzan min bisha. Metol de la malkuta wahaila wateshluta lulam amin amen lulam amin amen lulam amin amen lulam amin
Amen. 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 Great gratitude for this day, this born-again experience, the words, the native tongue, the Aramaic, and all the translations, the master teachers, the master teachings, and our call today to step out the old skins and to step into a new way of being, to begin to get a sense of that and how that would be for you, how you would be as that. Big deep breath.